Welcome to day 3 of the free-to-play guide. So, I pushed a little bit, not really too much. On the vault challenge, just went down to 10 for day 3. To do that, I pulled 2 God here, so it doesn't really matter which 2 you pull probably to get to 10. But the reason I do that is so I get as many of the free pulls as possible. As you can see, obviously you get 15 here, you get 10 in here, which your server should help you with. And just one more thing is you want to make sure as you're pulling, you're clicking up here whenever you get the reward, because you get free pulls early on as well to save some diamonds. So honestly, I probably wouldn't need DK, but because the guide says it, I'm going to make sure I get it as well. It's the only way to guarantee to get Night Eater, excuse me. So we'll go and pull for the last one now. When you get kind of close, you could single pull. When I say kind of close, once you're below 20, there's a chance. So, I mean, I was at 28, did a 10 pop. Probably got it. We'll see. We can do the math. If it says 60, I got it on the 10th. So I got it on the 9th. So I got it with 19 remaining before Mercy. The other one of them I went to Mercy, and the other one I didn't. So if you're going to Mercy for all 3, expect your gem count to probably be around 6,000. But you'll also have, like, depending upon what you're playing, you can have an event like this. I'm not collecting any of this, where you'll have a lot more gems. And if this sticks around, this is pretty nuts too. It's a lot of gems and a lot of this important resource right here for ascending. I don't want to click anything and accidentally collect it. The breakstone. So we have our DK now. I'm not 40 because I started so late. You could be around 40 by now probably, where you'd be able to upgrade this Renaissance and share your levels with your heroes, which I'll show you tomorrow. But for now, I'll just rank her up to 100, and I'll reset her tomorrow. Just throw whatever on her. Dragon Spine, I was at 240. I used this team initially to pull, maybe to climb. Maybe you'll be better with this. I guess it will be. I could probably just keep pushing. I'm not really too worried about it, so you could just push up using this squad right here. Just push up as whatever high as you can. I'll do that later. In the Ruins of Dice, just keep doing that. For the Traveling Merchant, I'm also just going to buy this Breakstone whenever I see it for gold. I find that to be very important. I usually don't do all my sweeps unless I need the gold until near the end in case I hit another breakpoint. But this breakstone can be very important for specifically the second coronet when you need as much power as possible just to squeeze by. From this Endless Abyss, you should definitely, regardless it's solo or team, be able to clear stage 10, get your first codex, or if not, your second codex if you're really pushed it the first on day 2. So I only have the 1, wasn't too worried about it. I wasn't sure if I needed to bring this up, but you definitely want to make sure you're buying the Lord of Time from here. Other than that, you'll probably just max out Enchanted Zone. For days 1 and 2, up until you get your second coronet, I wouldn't buy anything here in case you need some power. You could buy some Sun Talismans, which you can use to ascend to further talismans as well. So if you go into your equipped, when you have 5 or more, you can ascend and make the next tier. Now that we have our Lord of Time, you should be ascending her up. I'm not going to level her up much more right now. I'll just leave her at 175 for the moment. But, it's just still more power. The abilities get better. And most importantly, you get to go to your Starburst and just grab a little bit more power here. in terms of, you definitely should have your first ring by now, which is a big power spike. And in terms of your recruit, you should be around at least let's say 8,000, 8.5, or further, depending upon how far you've climbed in the tower. Because the tower really get a lot, along with the Abyss Tower. But other than that, today is still kind of slow. Make sure you're not over capping on your attacks. Always go down here. They refresh every 6 hours. So just make sure you're not going to end up with overcapping. I like to try and save as many for towards the end, but it still means you need to do roughly four a day to not overcap once you hit 7 or 8. In 7 hours, I'm not going to record this. I'm not going to roll the dice because I want to make it. I know some of you won't be awake during this, but if you're available, make sure you're around for when this countdown hits. All you do is bid. It's a little gambling thing. There's really nothing to it. Also, make sure you up your lineup. Like, make sure your lineup is in here correctly, because it'll potentially get you further in the tournament. And does it show the rewards here? The higher the higher you place, even if you place 256, if you place near the bottom, you're getting 2,000, which is just another. Another elemental crystal. Make sure I buy this. Probably end up buying one of those. Oh yeah, as a reminder, today is another day that I would buy both elemental crystals. I can pull them today too. Maybe we get super lucky. Oh, luminescence, that's a champ I use. What else is there for me to really talk about? Let's do that later. In the shops, I did talk about, you're basically just buying these books of truth until you have 10, you'll get an upgrade. In this relic store, I usually just buy these early on, depending upon what you're trying to ascend. Usually, it's always a safe bet to buy the wind. You can wait and try and time it too. You could go be like, oh, I'm close to getting another, so I need 3 more wind, or I need 6 more, or 2 more. So you could try and time it to ascend 1 to 5 and use that as food as well. Also in the shop, we talked about the bits. I personally like to, pick up one of these usually. The Rune of Striking is really bad against enemy DKs because you just essentially, they're usually in the front. You'll hit them an extra time for a small amount of damage, and they'll smack you back for a lot more. So I usually just stick on the runes of, one of the back attack ones. And I think this is going to be pretty much it. Just keep going, ascending. Don't stress about, finishing the last stage. I mean, we could just try it once just for looks. I would end up using, believe this is the strategy I would end up using. Let me just pull up the guide real quick for day 3. Guide has a lot. I need to clean this up, or have someone clean it up for me. It is getting very filled. Sorry. Day 3. I know I'm not great at recording. I should probably be swapping my screen to the Discord to show you. But yeah, that was a team. This is the team I use. I'll just run it. I don't think it's going to get through. But basically, you want the DK to shield her and then have enough damage to blast the DK in the round 1. Which I'm not quite there, which is fine. I'll be making a lot more gains tomorrow. So I'm not too worried about it. Just to see, was she protected or she does not die off the bat? Usually I want Luminescence to die off the bat. Oh, it's because she wasn't protecting the Valk. Yeah, Valk, you should. So maybe my Luminescence is a little too strong here. Oh. But yeah, no, this tomorrow, I'll make sure I get through it. And I'll show you a couple of different strategies to get through it. Probably two. Usually it's with Luminescence or it's with DK, not DK, Night Rev. I can see if I can make one work with just the standard comp. This normally does work if you have enough power. It's just more of just really making sure you have the power to get through it. But if you're doing this strategy as well, you'd want to make sure whoever's protected by your DK is not in the front row with your DK. Which it might be my Time Lord because she's just the most ascended. But yeah, don't get discouraged if you can't get on day 3. I know a lot of you message me saying what's wrong. You need a lot of power. You need to be pushing everything. Like if you have this event going on, hopefully it stays around. Make sure you grab everything. There's a lot of amulets and stuff which would push your power. So you would just need to be pushing everything really hard to make sure you clear that on the first day. But yeah, so tomorrow this will open up. Before you click on this, make sure your power is as high as possible. I think it starts you when you first click into it the first time at a higher level if your overall power is higher. So I would click on that later, not right away. And yeah, so this is the day 3. You should roughly be, let's say, 1,000,000 player power, combat power. And this is my roster looking like. I can probably send a few more champions up. But I'm basically prepping for the level 40, where you're going to want to have 5 champions at a certain level. So if you'll notice, even though I'm not using Ancient Warlock, I have her already ascended level 150, because when you hit level 40, your top 5 heroes level can be shared with other people in the Renaissance, which I'll talk about in tomorrow's video. And thanks for watching. Hopefully this is helpful. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments, and have a great day.